Good morning, everyone. This is Brad Matheny. Today is the 16th of July, and this is the continuation of the Plan Your Trade video series. So today we are moving into an interesting type of a pattern. Based on my research, we're looking at an exhaustion carryover after yesterday's exhaustion rally. Remember, I warned about the volatility over the weekend. We had this big crush pattern followed by a reversal rally on Sunday, moving into our exhaustion rally phase. And now we're in this counter trend exhaustion carryover. Counter trend here being the key word. So let's discuss what counter trend is. First, counter trend is primarily going against the current trend. So let's take a look at the current trend here. I mean, obviously, you can see we're moving higher. Obviously, you can see we had a bit of an upward trend yesterday that closed relatively high. I mean, it's a new closing price high, just barely, but it is an upward trend. So today, the counter trend mode would lead to potentially downward trending. That's the way I see it. Yet, what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is also the real lack of the exhaustion rally phase took place. And so we have this potential carryover of these rally bars here could be potentially carrying a bit into today's early trading. So now, just for the sake of being realistic about this, because this is a fairly interesting day in terms of what we have coming. It's not that it's difficult to read; it's a little difficult to read. But what I'm going to do to understand this better is I'm going to take a look at the QQQ. And I'm going to take a look at the trend. The trend here on a 3 to 5 day basis is obviously downward. It's downward basically on 3 days from roughly here to here. It's down on 5 days from here to here. So again, getting a couple of mixed signals. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones. Dow Jones trend is up. So we are going to be having a potential downward bar. And let's take a look at RSP. The equal weighted index's trend is moved up. So we have a downward trend. So let's go back to the SPY and then let's go take a look at what we could be seeing here on the 30-minute chart. So what we're going to look at here is spread these out. And I'm going to try to be as clear as I possibly can related to today's expectations. So get rid of these previous lines. We're going to essentially look at today going forward. Now, this lower support level still has quite a bit of activity for us. So understand that we're looking at that lower support level to be fairly important. So we're going to leave this because this is our big breakout bar. So we're obviously off of this topping pattern. I was a little high. You can see here, we did not get the follow through. This big bar never really matured. We rallied back up into this area and we're struggling. Do I think we're going to get up to this level? Yeah, I still think we're going to get up to 570. It may not be today, maybe around closer to the 24th or 25th, but now we're moving into this sideways channeling. Okay. And so today's move as a carryover trade, what I would expect to see happen, we're up a little bit pre-market, nothing to shake a stick at, up 0.13%. What I would expect again is to watch this channel price here. Okay. And I think we're going to probably see the markets move into a bit of a channeling move, maybe back up to test these highs again, and then roll downward into the end of the day. And I think that's a fairly safe expectation. The roll yesterday and this low here, so we can really kind of take a look at this level being very critical support. I think we're going to see this continued level here to be retested simply because the Dow Jones and the other uh, sectors continue to move higher. The QQQ is moving downward. So we get kind of a mixed signal here. But what this says is this carryover trend is going to carry over the type of trading we've seen over the last 2 or 3 bars. And the last 2 or 3 bars have indicated, fairly broad rollovers. So you can see we had the deeper selling with a little rollover. We had the strong buying with a rollover, moderate rally phase with a rollover, and then deep support right here. So I'm expecting really this to kind of just struggle upward, maybe up in the 564, 564.50 area, finding some resistance and then rolling back downward, potentially retesting the support range again. And I think that's pretty much going to be it for today. Nothing really too crazy. The following day could move again back down into this deeper support here. This is a breakdown day. Could move down into this deeper support, maybe finding some base or bottom. Then we end up getting that big major crush and counter trend mode. The major crush and counter trend mode could be a very solid bar, potentially moving up into highs and stalling out. So we could get a very big bar here on the 18th, Thursday, just before the end of the week, and then we consolidate. So today, I'm expecting a fairly soft open, probably around 562, give or take, maybe a rally up into 564, 564.50, maybe 565, maybe trying to push a little higher up here. So be aware of this potential area, which may be in the afternoon or maybe right around noon. And then I think we're going to just roll downward here. So you got a little opportunity here and a little opportunity here. A big kind of if I were to summarize, you've got basically a roll up, 564 plus, then a roll down, probably to 562, maybe a bit lower before the close. And that's where I think we're really going to go. Now, the QQQ, again, same type of setup. We got to get rid of a bunch of these lines. And again, we never got up into these highs. We have rolled. So remember, if you take a look at these predictions, higher, 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 up until this bar. Then we roll sideways. Well, look what happened. We rolled down and then into sideways. We had a bit of a push higher here, had a bit of a push higher here. Now we're rolling potentially into downward trending. Because we're in counter trend, okay, I would suggest the QQQ may find again a little bit of support here in the morning, maybe up into this area, and then moving back down, maybe into this area or this area here. So that would be 497.50 to 496 roughly by the end of the day. So again, fairly soft open, rolling up to maybe 499, maybe 501, then rolling back down to 497 and a half to potentially 496 by the end of the day today. Remember, we're in this kind of sideways consolidation phase. And as I mentioned to you earlier, these channels, very solid in my opinion. So again, if I were to just roughly estimate, then we move into our downward bar here, potentially finding some support, move into our reverse crush, sideways trading, and then into acceleration. So something kind of maybe like that. Now I'm just drawing on this, trying to give you an idea, but we're going to have this, in my opinion, sideways melt up all the way across this QQQ chart. And the same thing's pretty much going to apply to the SPY. So we come back over here. And of course, you can see how I drawn these charts. And that's simply because of the RSP. I think the RSP, and as long as essentially the major markets continue to show strength, you are going to see some pretty good upward trending related to this channel. And again, I'm going to try to make this channel a little bit bigger, maybe try to set it out a little bit. This is what I see right now as the current upward price channel. So these dotted yellow lines, I think we kind of stay within this range, moving through this consolidation phase until we get into this timeline right here, which is where my cycle patterns, if you see here, we move into that rally phase. We have the top, the flat down, Harami inside, temporary bottom, top resistance, and then we start moving into pop, rally, rally. That's going to come around the 25th, 24th, 25th, 26th. I think we're going to be moving into a basing and bottoming phase. That's right in this area. And I think we're preparing for the next big rally mode that starts to take place right over here. So again, if you're not skilled at trading, if you're just day trading and you're just learning, remember, scale back your positions. Start with smaller positions on some of these trades, especially for the next 2 or 3 or 4 days. Okay, you do not need to be swinging to the fences on this kind of choppy rotational type of trading. Yes, there's some great trades out there. Yes, if you're quick, they'll turn into some decent profits. But again, getting married to a position and watching it go against you with a bet the farm type of trade every day is probably going to lead you to disaster. So play cautiously. You have a potentially very solid day tomorrow on the 17th to the downside. You have a pretty solid potential reversal move at the end of the 17th, carrying into the 18th up into this area. And then we move into chop, in my opinion, until around the 22nd or 23rd or 24th. Then we're going to start to see some real upward move. So you've got to be very cautious over the next 4 or 5 days. You still trade, but just start slower. Start with some very manageable positions and realize that we're in this mode where we have to wait the market out. This is a consolidation phase. It is going to consolidate, like I've been telling you. Remember, I started all of this way back here. Okay, so what we're doing is we're kind of going through another sideways consolidation phase like this right over here, and we're just about ready to enter it with maybe a bit of a rollover here. So you really got, I mean, look at this, guys. You've got some consolidation, tight little trending maybe this morning, then maybe a fairly deep low, then a fairly strong recovery, then potential consolidation into a sideways channel, maybe. Then we start to expand back out of it around the 23rd or 24th. So you really have got about 3 or 4, maybe 5 days of chop intermixed with 1 or 2 fairly solid trends for you to catch, and then we move into something much more solid back over here. So please take this as a word of warning, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. Smart traders are going to be approaching this market very softly over the next 4 or 5 days until we get away from this sideways chop. And I think, like I said, that's really going to start right here around the 24th. Okay, guys, that's it right now. Talk to you later.